Unfortunately, today our product owner can't attend the meeting, but so I started the recording, and we would be able to, as usual, we would be able to provide the recording on YouTube, and we will send Mark the recording of today's video. So today our weekly meeting is not regular one, but because we're recording it at the end of the contribution day, which happened just before the MageConf conference. Today, more than 85 developers visited Magento Kyiv office and took part in the Magento contribution day. And as a result, we have pretty interesting contribution, pretty interesting ideas, especially devoted to multi-source inventory. So we have several updates for you to be shown today. One of the updates, so you can see Stepan and other people who are waiting to make a presentation. So one of the big updates for us, which we want to share with you today, is that finally we managed to package and build the release candidate version of MSI. So to the release candidate version of MSI, let me share my screen. We managed to deliver final pull request, which contains several bug fixes which we've done during this week. And so there are 5 bug fixes in the scope of this pull request, and we managed to deliver this pull request yesterday night. And actually, that was the last pull request which finalized the MSI development for 2.3.0. And after that, today morning, we built the release candidate package, which already published on repomagento.com, and it will get to the release candidate of Magento 2.3.0. So this is pretty big news for us and big news for everybody. And probably let's go to the presentation of the pull request created in the scope of today's contribution day. And the first one gonna be Vadim. So Vadim, come and share what he did.
So hi guys. Sorry for the short interruption here. I had to figure out which cable is the right connector for the beamer here. So today I start the day with the idea to make some maintainer stuff. But after reviewing some pull requests, I figure out that there is always the same error on Travis. And after searching for some issues, I already found out that there are already an issue created by Igor for this bug. So I start to investigate in here. It's still in progress. What? Yes. Guys, can you hear me? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So so what I figure out so far is that this bug is regarding saving of stock items, and depends on the reindexation process behind, but the investigation is still in progress. But since it was pretty hard to investigate because I need to run the test several times and it took time, I doing in the same time another issue. It's about README files in all the MSI projects. So all the modules have README files, but they are pretty empty for now. So I write a pull request where I try to describe what is the responsibility of each module, and I especially focused on the point, what is the extension, where are the right extension points for this module, if there are any, and especially about regarding our single responsibility principle, which is in the modules, which explains why we have so much modules, and what is the principle behind it. So probably this is also a pull request where Laurie could be involved, because it's a lot about text, and also try to link with dev docs to the right pages there. So we already have here a few pages which are describing what is MSI at all, and especially the topic I pointed before, our single responsibility principle here also described there. So I linked to this page, but take a look in this, Laurie. Give me feedback. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Vadim.
So the next presenter gonna be Ricardo, aka the Rick, who will show you the pretty big functionality which was implemented during this particular. Actually, he started implementation of this functionality during the Magento Live Europe in Barcelona, and he managed to finalize the working prototype today. So there's gonna be the presentation of new source selection algorithm. So as you know, in a 2.3.0 we released priority-based algorithm, but Ricardo implemented the distance-based algorithm. And moreover, he implemented not just implementation which is based on the Google Maps API, but also the offline fallback. So I will stop filling the stage of Ricardo, and I mute myself, so Ricardo will tell you more about that.
Great. As Igor told, basically, they finalize the work on the distance way. So
We can't really hear you, Ricardo. Very quiet. Can you speak up? I don't know if that's just my problem. Okay, it's very quiet. We don't hear you.
Excuse me, we had some slight technical issues, so Ricardo already started his presentation, but he actually was disconnected from Zoom, so we will reconnect Ricardo now and keep the presentation going.
Absolutely. Can't miss the Rick. Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Please let me know if you hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, we got your card.
Yeah, okay, Lori is saying yes. So I'm sorry, I just started my presentation without Zoom, but now I will try to explain you again. So basically, let me share my screen, desktop one. So what I did is to implement a distance-based source selection algorithm, because as you know, and as Igor was saying before, we had only one priority-based selection algorithm. I'm not sharing. Yeah, I am. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So previously, we just had one single way to select the source by source priority. Now we have even distance priority. What I did is not only to implement one distance priority system, but even a kind of distance provider. So you can choose between multiple providers, because maybe you can want the distance to be calculated by Google, or maybe the distance between 2 points. And in your configuration, in fact, you have the possibility to switch between Google Map and one offline distance calculation that is based on one database that is retrieved online, and in which you have postcodes and latitude and longitude. So of course, is less accurate than Google Map, but of course you don't have to pay the Google Map. And if you use the Google Distance Provider, you can even choose between different computational modes. So driving, walking, and bicycling. Well, actually, I decided to add walking and bicycling, for example, for people that may run delivery by bike or something like that. That can be actually interesting. And you can switch between distance and time to destination. So basically, this is what I did. And if you see it in action, is nothing special when you see actually in action, because you select distance priority and you got them sorted by distance. So in my specific case, I have custom source 1 and custom source 2, and they are both in Italy, and the shipping address in Italy. But if, for example, I change the custom source 1 and I put, let's say, in Ukraine, I hope I wrote Kiev in the right way. Do you have any valid postcode for Kiev?
02068.
068. Oh, there is also another cool stuff. If you leave latitude and longitude empty, when you save, it's automatically computed using Google API. And if I run the source selection based on distance again, if it works, custom source 2 should be the first one, because it's in Italy. And custom source 1 is in Ukraine, so it's much more expensive. And that's it. I'm done.
Thank you, Ricardo. This looks really amazing. How easily you implemented such a big piece of functionality, and I'm really little bit disappointed that we don't have a room to push this functionality into 2.3.0 anymore. But I believe that will appear in the upcoming patch update. And the next one are gonna be Stepan, who will show you another pull request created today, and the functionality UI improvement introduced for MSI, which would be especially useful for big merchant who has big merchants who have quite a lot of sources. So while Stepan is managing to connect his laptop to the to HDMI.
No, no HDMI.
I have this, huh?
Okay, I'll do this directly on the laptop. Okay, hello everyone. Let me share my screen. Show you how much screencast is to our additional screen. Yep. Or yes, I will. Will I? No?
Sure.
Okay.
У тебя просто HDMI. И у нас есть...
Есть этот DVI.
Да, у тебя всегда обычно есть, надержи.
Так, аудио не вставлять, да?
Не, аудио, наверное, не надо.
Okay. Okay, looks good. Need to stop share and start from scratch. Still not here. Okay, I'll move everything to another screen. Okay, looks good. Looks good. And now I have to move to this one. Sorry for these technical problems. Yeah. The second, I need additional time to handle my screen. Okay, and the built-in mirror displays apply. Yeah, right here. Okay. Can you see? Yep. Okay.
I see enough screen.
Okay. Let's start it from scratch. And open Zoom. This one.
So while we have slight technical issues, I will just tell a little bit what actually Stepan want to demonstrate. So some time ago, Stepan added functionality to our managed stock grid, and he added the assign sources column. And in this column, he added
Try to reconnect.
all sources assigned to particular stock. But depending on the stock, for big merchants who has a lot of warehouses, this list can be pretty big one, and this will introduce some. This will probably spoil the usability and the look and actually look and feel wouldn't be so good. So the idea was to add a tooltip which will provide an ability to manage. Yeah.
Much prettier.
So
Okay. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so I created a tuple request that makes our two grids much prettier. First of all, it's stock grid and the product grids. This tuple request is divided by different branches, so I'll be able to show just one. But believe me, it's almost similar. So, and it provides us ability just to show what was before that. As you can see, this list is pretty big for the one row. And I created a new new UI component, which will use tooltip for showing for cutting this list and making it much left. And all in other sources you can see in a tooltip once you hover to this field. So it looks like that as the product grid. So, and was like that. So, and the same will be here, but the another branch. So I think that's it from my side. Next.
Okay. Thank you, Stepan. I've seen that Lars also made one of the pull requests and he participated remotely. So I want to ask Lars whether you want to make a presentation of the pull request you've done today.
Yeah, it's a very small pull request. It was some performance optimization, but I can show.
Of course, feel free to share your screen. All the contribution counted, so don't hesitate to show you.
So, I can share my screen. So, I think you should see my screen now. Igor?
Give me a second. Yep, I see a screen.
Cool. So what I do today, in most cases, I starting with refactoring for Enterprise Edition and make it compatible to the MSI. And then I see some performance issues at the code because I have some checker in my PHP storm and they told me, hey, Lars, there are some optimization. And this was the reason why I opened a pull request for introduce absolutely paths to count methods because in Science PHP version 7.0, it's some AST optimization for that. And if you have many calls, it increases the performance. It's a small performance increasement, but if you have a lot of calls, it counts. Also, I see, okay, we have in many for eaches array merge, but array merge is not required to have this in for each because array merge is very slow in a for each. Also, it needs a lot of memory. That depends or is why I changed to the explode and return the array merge as last. This was my two optimization. This is from my side.
Okay, thank you, Lars. So regarding the array merge, probably that's pretty valid concern. But regarding the adding slash and the counting that all that functions should be taken from the global namespace, I don't think that this is a practice we need to follow in a typical code development we usually do on a regular basis when we call the PHP functions. So it's I wouldn't say that this is really good practice we need to adopt.
But regarding the merge, I believe this is pretty valid concern. We have it in a for each, and the merge it's pretty resource. So the function which need quite a lot of resources for the processing. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, then I will change this pull request to only array merge. There are the example, what is the resource, and here are a lot of performance measurements for array merge. And also the same as here for function FQN replace. There are also some benchmarks. Yeah, they are a lot of course, but yeah,
But currently, especially for web API, we need FQN. Because one of the pull requests created by Ricardo is not yet merged, so we are not able to use not fully qualified namespaces. So for our web services, especially, it's pretty important to have the fully qualified namespace in annotation. Okay, so let's proceed further. And
okay, I will change it. No problem.
And the next one probably gonna be Lori, who will provide you an update of our documentation and what was prepared for the upcoming release.
Sounds great. Hey, everybody. Go ahead and start sharing. I think everybody can see. Yes? Good. All right, everyone. So everyone pretty much knows this as the user guide. We've kept it in the wiki for MSI, and it's been really good. I've been keeping this up to date based on any PRs coming through, keeping it in line with the develop. But now that we have released formally, I have gone ahead and moved this into the actual Magento user guide. So now you're going to find MSI through the Magento Commerce, the B2B, and the open source user guides. When you click this link, it'll take you into here, and here is your new landing page. Now, the content's broken up a little differently. You're not going to see the word MSI immediately because MSI is replacing all inventory management. So previously, we had maybe 2 topics. Now we have close to 60 that are pretty much documenting everything you guys have done. It's broken up to help merchants understand what is the new MSI inventory management, how to get started, you know, how to configure and just get going. Everything all the way down to managing their orders and shipments. I'll add a link so everyone can start looking through this. Over on this side, you'll see how much content has just been added in this one area. And when you come up through here, you'll see you have this entire section, quite a bit. Also, other pages have been updated to show MSI content, like each of the products. When you go to update these, you'll start seeing some MSI content on how to add sources, add quantities, all sprinkled throughout here in the documentation. And we also have a page where we are tracking all of the new Magento extensions, and that's where we'll have some call outs. I'm going to see if we can add some more names here instead of just a link. You can see the Rick's previous work, as well as everything you guys have done here, which also has links to all of the dev docs from within the user content, just in case they're interested. But this page here will continue to get updated as the user guide that's in the wiki is going to continue being updated based on work that you are actively pushing into develop. I intend to keep this up to date with develop. That way, every milestone has documentation. This content in the actual live user guide is only going to match what we push out for 2.3 beta and then 2.3 GA. So it's also fully searchable and has lots of really nice diagrams and information that is going to look pretty similar to what you've seen before. That's pretty much it, unless anyone has questions. And I'll add links to Slack.
Thank you, Lori. That's really great job, and please share the link with the documentation to our Select channel. I believe that a lot of people will need to look through this documentation, and because many people ask about the documentation even during the today's event, so I believe that will be really helpful. And one more thing I wanted to share with you. Let me share my screen one more time. I just want to provide you a little bit more about one of the bugs we were struggling with for half of this week. And one of the contributors who is currently on a call, but who is, you know this guy, this is Sergey from Chernivtsi, but he's shy a little bit to make the update by himself. But he helped us. He helped us a lot with fixing this issue. So I will just provide you a little bit more details about this issue, because this was the last blocker issue for us, which prevented us to make the RC release a day or 2 days earlier. So the main idea, and actually that was a gap in the initial implementation, that we did not support the custom option, because the custom option in a product slightly changed the SKU of the product. And as you know, in MSI we work, all the business logic is based on the natural identity, so on the SKU but not on the product ID. And we do the source deduction, we do reservation creation and the compensational reservation creation based on the SKU only. And for us, the products with so for us it was pretty problematic, because our algorithm can't find the appropriate product using the SKU of the product with the custom option. That's why the stock deduction calculation was made incorrectly for product with the custom option. And the initial fix was to provide the fallback to the product ID, which is also stored in the order item. So as you know, in the order item we have 2 fields, product ID and product SKU. And that was initial fix provided by Sergey. But eventually it appeared that configurable products stored so that the product ID in an order item for the configurable product actually referring to the parent product, to the composite product, but not to the variation. And regarding the configurable product, we're supposed to work with the SKU. So introducing initial fix for the products with the custom option, we actually introduce a bug for the configurable product. So Sergey introduced a dedicated service which has several fallbacks. So initially checks whether the product is managed, so whether it's simple or virtual downloadable. So whether it's the one which supports the source management manipulation, and if so, we proceed with the product ID fallback, and if not, we are taking just the SKU, because in this case it's probably the configurable product, and in this case we take the SKU. So this is probably maybe not an optimal solution, because the optimal solution would be to refactor the existing way how we store the data to the order item, but taking into account that we are not allowed to introduce backwards incompatible changes, and taking into account that we don't want to spread this kind of I wouldn't say that desirable logic into all the MSI code base. So we just introduce additional service which is supposed to provide the correct SKU based on the order item, and Sergey made that service to be used in every place where we need this conversion from order item to SKU. And this is how we fix our latest bug. And after that, we spent almost 2 days on testing this, because the fix of this bug affected quite a lot of areas of the functionality. So we had to test all the order placement and the order shipment for all the composite product types, like configurable, grouped, bundle, and of course simple and virtual. And also we made quite a lot of testing of the configurable product with with variation, which use a custom option, etc. So we made quite a lot of testing, and finally, fixing that bug, we made the final packaging as I said from the beginning of today's demo. So thank you very much, Sergey, and thank you very much everybody of you who spent time on MSI contribution and who made that happen. I mean our release candidate. And this is probably all for today. Sorry for some technical issues we had because we are in the auditorium and we are always switching our laptops to make a possibility to broadcast the screen to auditorium, and this probably introduced some noise, maybe that's annoyed you a little bit, but and this is all what we wanted to present today. If there are any other open questions, I'm not sure that it would be suitable if I'll be answering right now. So just just drop your question in MSI Slack channel, and we will be glad to answer all these questions. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your time, and see you in a week on the next MSI weekly demo meeting.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey.